Welcome to Middle Class Matters, Business News in English from Dr. CMA Allegation. Democratic backsliding in the world's largest democracy, that is India. Part number 4 continued. Muslim electorate share using voter list. I create reliable estimates of Muslim electorate share at the assembly constituency and parliamentary constituency level to examine electoral discrimination against Muslims as a potential source of manipulation. For this, I use a 3% random sample of registered voters representative at assembly level, about 25 million observations. I access this proprietary data from a private organization that has compiled the full list of registered voters for the entire country using the electoral rolls published by the Election Commission of India. The data uses electoral rolls published till 2018 and therefore it is not subject to any strategic deletion that may have happened during the 2019 revision. Prior to the general election, I use a religion prediction algorithm with 97% accuracy developed by Chaturvedi and Chaturvedi 2023 to predict each voter's religion from their name, which allows me to compute Muslim share in each assembly constituency. Appendix figure A1 plots the local polynomial relationship between voter share received by all Muslim candidates running in an assembly constituency in a state assembly election during 2008 to 2018 against the electorate. Muslim share and finds strong positive relationship. This indicates that my measure of assembly constituency level Muslim share is reliable. 4. Irregularities in aggregate election results. I first performed the Macquarie test that checks for a discontinuity in the distribution of win margin of any party at the level of 0. The presence of discontinuity would imply that there is disproportionately higher mass of closely contested electoral constituencies where the party has barely won or lost, depending on whether the discontinuity is positive or negative. The idea is that if elections are fair, then conditional on an election being closely contested between the party A and other party, the party A's chance of winning would be close to 50%. This is because whether it ends up winning a really close election would effectively be random. I performed the Macquarie test by computing the win margins of the two major national parties of India, namely BJP and the Indian National Congress. Any party A's win margin is defined as party A win margin equal to vote share of A minus vote share of winner if A loses, equal to vote share of A minus vote share of runner up if A wins. BJP win margin therefore takes negative values in constituencies where it lost and positive values where it won. When the variable takes values closer to 0, it implies that BJP either lost or won the election with a narrow margin. Similarly, a large negative or positive value would imply that BJP lost or won that election with a large margin. Same is true for INC Congress win margin. Figure 1A and 1B plot the densities of BJP and the Congress win margins respectively for the 2019 general election. I observed a large discontinuous jump in a density of BJP win margin just right of 0 This implies that conditional on a closely contested election between a BJP's candidate and another candidate, BJP was significantly more likely to win that election than lose. I do not observe any discontinuity in the density of the Congress win margin. Before commenting on the interpretation of this finding, I wish to point out that failure of McCarray test in electoral contest is rare both in India as well as internationally. I performed the test for past general elections of India using BJP and Congress win margins. Table 1 reports the estimated discontinuities in the density of the two variables for all general elections going back to 1977. I find that BJP win margin in 2019 is the only case exhibiting statistically significant estimate of the discontinuity. To illustrate this point more clearly, Appendix Table A1 reports the number and percentage of constituencies BJP won and lost in constituencies with small absolute BJP win margins for the past four general elections. I consider the three narrow win margin bands within 0.05, 0.03 and 0.02. For each band, the 2019 elections show the most lopsided share of win for BJP. The share of BJP victory is 67 to 74% in 2019 depending on bandwidth. For each bandwidth, 2019 is the only year where the data rejects the null that the likelihood of BJP victory is 0.5. In each case, the null hypothesis is rejected with the p-value less than 0.01, that is, there is less than 1% probability of observing the patterns with BJP's true probability of victory in close elections being 0.5. Nellis Weaver 2016 find that Congress win margin passes the McCarray test in state assembly elections for the period 1962 to 2000. Uppal 2009 find the same using incumbent win margin as the running variable for state assembly elections during the period 1975 to 2003. Moreover, the only evidence of failure of McCarray test that has been documented in a robust democracy is in the context of elections in the US. Genong and Shenoy 2020, Kohei and Chauhan 2011, Eggers 2015, however, have shown that it is in fact an exception as the test works in a number of countries excluding the US and India and for different time periods. Hence, the failure of the test in the 2019 general election in India warrants notice and additional investigation. Interpretation. While the result is consistent with possible manipulation of election results in favor of the BJP in the incumbent party, it is not the only interpretation. Alternatively, it could be that BJP, being the incumbent, was able to exercise precise control over win margin. That is, it was able to precisely predict win margins, especially in constituencies where a close contest was expected, and was able to affect it thanks to its comparative advantage in electoral campaigning and greater access to resources. Notice that it is not enough for BJP to predict the constituencies where it will face a close fight to generate failure of McCarray test. In such a case, it would campaign harder in all the constituencies expected to have a close contest, resulting in a uniform shift of its win margin to the right, and hence not discontinuity would emerge at zero. The party would have to accurately predict whether they are ahead or falling behind in the close contest. Hence, for precise control to be the explanation, BJP had to accurately predict the sign as well as the magnitude of the win margin to be able to target the set of constituencies where it expects to lose in a close contest. Genong and Shenoy 2020 have shown that incumbent parties in the US state legislative elections do exhibit behavior consistent with precise control, and it can explain their ability to consistently win majority of close races. While election prediction in India is still not as sophisticated as in developed countries such as the US, it is possible that BJP, due to its superior electoral machine, was able to precisely predict and affect win margins. State Assembly elections. 7 states had their state assembly elections in 2019, including 4 states where the state elections were held concurrently with the general election. BJP was the incumbent party in the government in 3 of the 7 states. I compute the BJP win margin for state election results for BJP and non BJP ruled state separately. I find that it does not exhibit failure of McCarthy test. Same is true for state elections held in 2020 and 2021. If precise control is the mechanism responsible for figure 1A, then we should expect it at work at state level elections as well, at least in 2019. I, however, do not find that. BJP versus non-BJP ruled states. I now perform the McCarthy test for the 2019 general election in 2 subsamples of constituencies, those in states that were ruled by the BJP at the time of the 2019 election and those in non-BJP ruled states. The 2 subsamples have equal number of constituencies. Figure 1C and 1D show the destinies of BJP win margin for the 2 subsamples respectively. I find that for BJP ruled states, the density shows an even larger discontinuous jump to the right of threshold. For non-BJP ruled states, the jump is muted. Appendix Table A2 reports the estimated discontinuities in the destinies for the 2 subsamples of the states separately. The estimate of the jump for BJP ruled states is highly statistically significant, p-value 0.007, while it is statistically insignificant, p-value of 0.84 for non-BJP ruled states. Therefore, the overall failure of McCarthy test is primarily driven by constituencies in the BJP ruled states. Those states, on the other hand, do not exhibit differential patterns in the previous 2 general elections. The results are consistent with both mechanisms. Having control over the state's bureaucratic machinery can help a party target its manipulation efforts better, especially in a context where widespread manipulation is hard to implement given the intense media attention during the elections and vocal rival potential parties. It is also consistent with precise control if being in power at the state government helps in mobilizing party workers at the ground. Greater presence of party workers at the ground can generate more precise information about a party's expected vote share vis-a-vis main rival party, which can facilitate precise control. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please share the video as many people as possible to know how the election is working in India. It is almost controlled by parties in power, and the parties in opposition are also playing, and how the election there is electoral role is being manipulated and the election machinery is manipulated by the parties in power. Thanks for watching.